Hey YouTube, Qualia here, bringing you all my Cardfight Vanguard Zorga Alchemagic deck profile for post-Dragon Masquerade. We got the new mask version of Zorga in the latest Cardfight Vanguard Overdress booster set, allowing to work with the mask order, which is basically the revival of, Link Joker Reverse in the form of masks, the masked versions of our many different Vanguard units, with Zorga Masks being the first one we'll take a look at for this deck, focusing on Alchemagic and all the power that it can bring to the deck, along with the additional power that it can provide by getting rid of another unit with Zorga from this unit's hand, soul, or drop zone. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and we will start off with the ride deck before we get to the main deck. For our ride deck, our starter is still Dream Nibbling. If you went second, draw a card. Our grade 1 is Rancor Chain. Once per turn, you can Soul Blast 1 to draw 2 cards, choose up to 1 order card from your hand, and discard it. If you did not discard, choose 2 cards from your hand and discard it. So it's just order setup on top of the draw you could potentially get with Dream Nibbling as well. Our grade 1 is Black Tears Hux Dragon. When it's placed on the Vanguard Circle, you can choose 1 normal order from your drop zone and put it into your hand. And our grade 3 is Dead Sea Spiritualist, Grave equals Zorga. So you could run the original Zorga as well as this added spot. It's the only copy we run in the deck because you're going to be going into the masks version in the deck otherwise. So you really don't need to have any more of a setup with this card otherwise, because you're just going to rely on the search power that the other cards in the deck can provide for whether it be searching for Mask of Hydragram or any of our other setups. So for the actual other grade 3s that we run in the deck, I do want to run 4 copies of Teasing Spiritualist Zorga Masks. This is our go-to for the setup with the mask card. It can only be written from a grade 3 with Zorga in its card name, so we already have that in the ride deck. And on the Vanguard Circle, if you would play a normal order, you can bind a normal order from your drop and Alchemagic. So with this card having the option for Alchemagic as well, being able to have that setup. And if you Alchemagic this turn, all your front row gets plus 10,000. So you have the additional plus 10 to your front row if you Alchemagic that turn. And on the Vanguard Circle, once per turn, you can remove a card with Zorga in its different card name from this unit from your hand, soul, or drop, and choose a card from your drop zone, call it to rear if it is a unit card, or put it into your hand if it is a normal order, giving you back more recycle power for you then to utilize your Alchemagic later on as well, thanks to this card. Now, with the Alchemagic that we'll be providing in the deck, we are also running 3 copies of the grade 3 Roaming Prison Dragon. With this card from the drop zone, when you play a normal order, you may call this card to rear guard. If you called this card, perform one of the following. If it was Alchemagic, perform all the following instead. This unit gets plus 10,000 until end of turn, and this unit gets critical plus 1 until end of turn also. So you have the pressure for the power it can provide, since it is just a 5k unit, and then the additional critical for added pressure for the attack that this card can provide, with the added power numbers that you can get with Zorga Mask. Since with your Mask of Hydragram, you'll be able to give your Persona Ride power when you ride over your Zorga Masks over your other Zorga, and then the additional plus 10 when you Alchemagic with it also. Moving on now to our grade 2s. For the grade 2 lineup, if you want to run Illwillith, the one card that can search out the Mask of Hydragram, you can always replace it with the Shadow Cloak, which we are running 3 copies of. When this unit is placed on rearguard from hand, search your deck for up to 1 order card, reveal it, put it into your drop zone if it does not have a card with the same name as it, but still, and then discard the revealed card. So it's an easier searcher, I would say, over the Illwillith, but if you don't have the Shadow Cloak, you can always place Illwillith instead. Just being able to search your deck for 1 order card, it can just add the Mask of Hydragram that much more quickly to your hand for you to use. And also 2 copies of the new Keel Severing from the drop zone when the Teasing Spiritless Zorga Mask is on your Vanguard attacks. If you do not have a Keel Severing on your rear guard, you can counterblast 1, retire rear guard, call this card to rear with a Dragon Tree marker. So the Dragon Tree markers can be set up with our additional unit that we run in the grade 1 lineup. So then just being able to call your Keel Severing onto that unit and then utilizing also the Alchemagic for being able to set up that other grade 1 in the deck as well, which we are running 3 copies of, which is Dragon Tree Wretch, Bist Alvadis. When this unit is placed on rear guard, counterblast 1, choose one of your rears without any Dragon Tree markers, and put a Dragon Tree marker on it. So also for the deck, we really don't use counterblasts a lot in it, so you can fully utilize them with Bist Alvadis, being able to call multiple copies, getting the Dragon Tree markers, and then having the additional power with those Dragon Tree markers. And on the rear guard circle once per turn, if your Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, you can counterblast 1, soul blast 1, choose a normal order from your drop zone, and put it into your hand. More recycle power for Zorga as well, to be able to add back those order cards to your hand for you to Alchemagic with them again. And then the other grade 1s that we run in the deck is just the 4 copies of the Planner Prevent Dragon. If you wanted to run Elementaria Sanctitude, you can always just drop 1 copy of this Sentinel in the deck for a copy of that Blitz order. Moving on now to the orders, which are some of the most important cards in the deck for Alchemagic. Running 2 copies of Mask of Hydragram. If you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 unit card with Dragon Tree or Mask and its card name from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. And from the drop, if you have a grade 3 without masks in its card name, reveal a grade 3 card with masks in its card name from your hand, ride the revealed card for a cost as stand. If you row, put this card into your soul, and if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater and you did not Persona Ride this turn, you activate Persona Ride. So this can help just being able to ride on top of your grade 3 Zorga with the Zorga masks, activating the Persona Ride, and then also setting up the Mask of Hydragram in your soul as well. So very, very useful for that setup. You really only need the 2 of though, since this card is very searchable in this deck. And then otherwise, after you're set up with your mask setup, there's really not much else you can use this card for, aside just from the order search. The other orders that we run in the deck as well are 2 copies of Clouded Miasma for the additional power for a counterblast 1, choosing a grade 3 or less from the drop, calling it to rear guard, so this can set up the Bist Alvadis on the field as well. 2 Tearful Malice to make up for the counterblasting we do in the deck by also placing it in the soul for soul buildup, and then also 2 copies of Gather Upon Ye Old Wandering Souls for discarding an order card to gain an additional drive for our Vanguard, with the last card being our In the Dim Darkness, the Frozen Descent. You play it with a Soul Blast of 1, look in the top 3 cards of your deck, choosing up to 1 card from among them, and then discard it, and then shuffle your deck and choose a card from your drop zone with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, and calling it to rear guard. So more setup for units from your drop zone onto the field also. And then for our trigger lineup, we are running the 8 critical, so 4 copies of Aspiring Maiden Elena and 4 copies of Abyss Temptation, just for more pressure with the 8 crits that they provide. And then for the additional numbers for the front row rear guards, 3 copies of Frenzied Heiress for the front trigger lineup. And with our heals, we're going for the 4 Elegy Pixie. If you want to run any of the ability triggers, you can just drop 1 of copies for the heals for those spots also, with our over trigger being Bless Favor for the heal power, and then the pressure it can provide to the front row along with the 100 million power. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy the video. Once again, thanks to my buddy Anthony for letting me borrow his Zorga Alchemagic deck for the video. It's a really awesome look at one of the first decks we have for the mask support from the Dragon Masquerade booster set. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.